Hello again. As some of you may know, I want to be a librarian when I grow up. But, so I decided to make a video about books, and I've chosen a few different books, that are my favorites. I have a manga, a reference book, a fantasy, a young adult psychological book, a graphic novel, and a book that I want to read and haven't had time to, and I bought it forever ago, but yeah, so I'll just be telling you about those books. I'll start with the manga first. I've read a few mangas. I haven't read a whole bunch of them, but I have to say that this one is by far my favorite. It's very, very well done. I actually prefer it over the anime for sure. And I know a lot of people don't like manga, especially artists, because they just don't like the art or whatever, but I think it's really good. And the story's great. I mean, if you've seen the anime actually follows it pretty closely, so yeah. If you like mangas and you haven't read this one, I definitely recommend it. It's very good. I guess for reference, I'm a classics minor, so I really like mythology. And I know a lot of people don't really like to read some of the original works because they can be rather long. But Edith Hamilton, mythology, she does a really good job at summarizing all of the stories. Not all of the stories, obviously, but it's mainly Greek and Roman. There is a very small section of Norse mythology in the back, but she summarizes them. They're kind of like short stories, I guess. She just says, this is what happens, and it's pretty interesting. I just sat down and read it like a normal book, and I still use it for reference. And so if you're interested at all in mythology, this is one that I would definitely recommend because it's not boring. You can just read a story or two and get the information you need. And she tells you where the stories are actually from, so you can actually go back and read the actual stories if you want. Well, I'm sure you've heard me mention my favorite fantasy book a few times, and that would be The Name of the Wind, Patrick Rothfuss. In my opinion, it's the best fantasy I've ever read. I mean, the world building, you can really get a feel for the character, and it's written uniquely, I believe. Okay, this is the first of 3 books. I actually have the second one that I'm in the process of reading. And what is happening is Quoth, who's the main character, he is telling his story of when he was younger. So we get 2 different viewpoints. We get a third-person Quoth, the one who is telling the story as an older man. And then we get the first-person Quoth, who's younger, and he's like discovering things, and it's a really, really good adventure, and he's intelligent, and I mean, it's hard to explain, but the books are written in 3 days, okay? This is the first day of him telling his story, and the second book puts up exactly where it left off, where it's the second day of him telling his story. And it's just really uniquely written, and it's incredibly interesting, and if you like fantasy at all, maybe if you don't even like it that much, you may want to check it out. It's large, yes, but it is very, very good, and it is my favorite book. So Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind. Okay, and this one is it's got a shiny cover on it, so it's hard to see. Step on a Crack by Mary Anderson. This is one that was my favorite for a really long time because I think the way that I found it has a greater impact on why I like it so much. And okay, I was in high school and in art class, she told us to go to the library and get one of the discarded books that they were giving away, and she wanted us to draw in these books as like an art journal. And I ended up just reading the book that I got, and I loved it. I mean, it was incredibly interesting. It has an amazing twist, and it wasn't anything that I was expecting at all. I can't really say a whole lot about it because it does have a big twist, but it is kind of a hard book to get a hold of. I feel very lucky that I actually have a copy of it. I've never noticed before, but it's from a school. I have a school version. But if you maybe stumble upon it or get a chance to read it, I would recommend it. It's very good, in my opinion. I've read it. It's probably my most read, I don't know. Fuck. Anyway, graphic novels. I really like graphic novels, and this isn't the one that I read that made me start liking graphic novels, but it is the best one I've read so far, in my opinion. And I can't say a whole lot about it because it kind of is surprising, I think, and it's kind of not expected, the ending, and I feel like if I say too much of it about it, then it'll give too much away, and I don't want to do that because it is a really good graphic novel. As for the art, I think a lot of people don't like it because it's black and white, but my two favorite graphic novels are in black and white, so that doesn't bother me. I think the art itself is very beautiful. And the story is amazing. It's the first graphic novel that actually made me cry. And it's inspirational and very good. Really, it really is. I think everyone should read that graphic novel, even if you're not a fan of graphic novels. And then I have this book that I bought a long time, well, not a long time ago, but a while ago, and I haven't been able to read it because I have a lot of books that I'm reading for school and things like that. So, but it's this one, Anime and Philosophy. I was in a bookstore just looking around one day and I saw it and it really made me interested. So I bought it and it's just been sitting on my shelf and I really, really want to read it. I think I'll get around to it one day, but it talks about, let's see, it lists Astro Boy, Dragon Ball Z, Fully Cooley, Full Metal Alchemist, Ghost in the Shell, Gunslinger Girl, Mobile Suit Gundam, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, and, you know, a bunch of others. And I just think that it would be a really interesting subject to read about. And I plan on taking more philosophy classes, so maybe one day I'll be able to write about it as well. But yeah, those are, I mean, they're my favorites, kind of. I mean, these are the books that I would probably recommend within each category to my friends, and yeah, I mean, these are just the ones that stand out most to me. So if you've read them and you like them, then tell me. If you didn't, then tell me. I mean, if you get a chance to read them, I would definitely recommend it. And you can respond with your favorite books. I tend to like these specific categories. Like, they're mainly fantasy books. Actually, I think all of them are kind of fantasy books, but yeah. So recommend me your favorite books, or just tell me your favorite books, and I'll try to have a look at them. I have a whole bunch of books that I'm trying to read right now, but